The film begins with Alice, a woman 38 years old, who is in Brazil for work and returns to Paris while waiting at the airport. Calls her friend Pauline, who works in the same Pauline company, informs you that your boss Lisa has been with Vicente, the boss of Alice's, since as she left Alice she tries to talk to him. But Pauline tells her says Vincent and Lisa just came in his office, and they close the blinds, so Alice will have to wait during the flight back to Paris. Alice is upset because a man on the plane is being too much insistent. Meanwhile, a teenager called Baltazar is left without a seat, and the stewardess asks Alice to leather. The young man sits next to her in first place. Alice class acts accesses, although not very willingly despite the discomfort. Initial Baltazar tries to maintain the light conversation. However, when the plane goes through turbulence, a strong everyone on board is frightened to calm Alice down. The young man tries to distract her, and when the lights go out, Shedakashi shand out of fearons that the flight stabilizes. Alice releases and quickly moves away from Baltazar, accidentally dropping a USB memory. Baltazar finds it in her, runs after her to give it back to her. But Alice has already gotten into a car and walks away, unaware of his presence. In the next scene, Alice arrives at their workplace and is greeted by her labor rival Ellis, who aims to have the intention to take over their projects. Annoyed, Alice decides to talk to Vincent about the situation. To his surprise, Vincent tells him that Ellis fits better in the company due to its willingness to taking risks and his daring attitude, while Alice tends to be more conservative and avoids risks. Vincent also mentions that Alicia had several marriages with both men as with women, while Alice is divorced 8 years ago and has focused his life at work since then. Vincent suggests that Alice could perform better in another magazine that would give him more time to spend with his frustrated daughter Alicia. A Bailey leaves the office. That night, Alice realizes that lost his USB stick, and after look for her everywhere and find one Pauline's note with a number of. When calling the phone, he discovers that Baltazar, he is the one who has his memory, heists Theon, who finds himself in a noisy bar during the happy hour and gives youth address so that meet. Alice quickly goes to the place, and upon arriving, Baltazar introduces her to his friends, but then clarifies that it was all a misunderstanding, actually does not have the USB flash drive. While chatting outside from the Baltazar helps him put on a helmet to get on his pink scooter. Hello Kitty, a model that obtained by mistake since he thought it was black and white, due to the promotional image in black and white. Two co-workers, Alice watches them from a distance, and seeing the interaction between them, they take photos and post them on Twitter, implying that Alice is a Kuparbi dating a younger guy. Baltazar takes him to his house, where we meet his father, who is dating a woman much younger. The next day in the office, Alice notices that her classmates murmur and laugh at their Pauline shows her a photo of herself with Baltazar on the scooter with Aditla. That she ridicules her. Later, Alice talks to his boss about a work issue, and he says she appreciates that I am interested in someone younger, as it fits with the Rebel magazine that seeks a more cool and casual. Bewildered, Alice talks to his friend, who suggests that she goes out with Baltazar to pretend that the rumors are true despite her reservations. Alice decides to try it, dress more daringly, and visit the Baltazar University, who is pleasantly surprised to see Alice there. He suggests going out that night to art exhibition. During the exhibition, Alice tries to keep up the facade of be interested in Baltazar, although in reality does not share your tastes. When the artist Claude approaches and asks her opinion, Alice pretends interest to look good. However, when Claude addresses Baltazar with his honest and critical opinion that offends the artist, who of subset Alice explains to Baltazar that type of environments nobody really says what thinks. After the exhibition, Alice and Baltazar meets on the balcony, and they strive to maintain the appearance of being in love, especially because Ella chases them closely during the conversation. Alice receives a call from her sister, who mentions that she needs to talk to your gynecologist about what Baltazar misinterprets. Thinking that his daughter is in the hospital, without thinking, Baltazar stops a taxi and forces the passenger to leave so that Alice can arrive quickly to the hospital, thus showing his genuine concern for her. While the taxi drives away, Alice can't help but smile, still impressed by the Baltazar's actions during dinner with the gynecologist. However, Alice does not behave as always, as strongly medicated, and makes mistakes that I wouldn't normally do it. In the next one, Sina takes Baltazar to a parade fashion, dressing provocatively to get the attention of his boss, who also is the event. Later, when a model trips and falls on the catwalk, Baltazar rushes to help her, unintentionally becoming the center of attention during the party. Alice introduces Baltazar to his boss. This leads to which his boss reads. He bombards him with questions, noting the growing interest of Alice in him. A young newlywed get on the dance floor and try to do a sensual dance, but the police is stopped at. A friend recognizes and warns the boss try to take a picture of the situation. But Alice realizes the time and leaves abruptly, leading his boss to assume that they ran away for a romantic encounter that night when Balthazar takes Alice to his house. They kiss after she tells him that her daughter is not at home, taking advantage of the moment. Alice invites him to spend the night. The next morning, a heavy rain falls, and Alice suggests to Balthazar that his stay until it stops. During your stay, he finds a book written by Alice that arouses her interests. She tries to take it off, and both end up in a compromising position at that time. Elizabeth and Zoe enter the house, forcing Alice to pretend that Balthazar is just a intern. When they go out, she gives a quick kiss before saying goodbye. Days later, Balthazar and Alice, they meet again, and he tries hard to leave him little notes and an iPod before topping her up to leave, later already in the bed. Balthazar asks him why he decided to go with him. Before she can answer the same, dismisses the Alice asks. In the next scene, attends a work meeting led by Liz, who presents aggressively your ideas for the next edition. Distracted, Alice is in a corner texting Balthazar and laughing alone. When her boss asks her opinion, Liz makes fun of Alice, suggesting that he only comes up with ideas trivial like sweat stains or high heels. However, Alice surprises everyone by proposing a bold concept focused on breaking through stereotypes, mentions that they have tagged as 1,000 for dating a younger man, but that does not matter to him. Affect just it's a topic that explore sexual fantasies and dynamics, defying those as social labels. That night, Alice contemplates telling him the truth to Balthazar on why he started dating with him, doubting, thinking about how time will eventually leave wrinkles on your face. Even when he meets Balthazar, he takes her to a building futurist who admires as a student of architecture. While sharing some drinks, she confesses to her how much he likes it be with her, and how she waits eagerly awaiting every moment together. Deeply moved, Alice suggests or consider their relationship by mentioning the age difference and the future complications. Later on, friend Simone asks her if she was honest with Balthazar about the promotion before break up with him. Alice admits that and wasn't. Day arrives at the office. Rebel magazine when Tracy Kimmel does a visit, however, is not satisfied with male models that they present to him after rejecting several options. Mentions Balthazar, the boy that he saw on the catwalk, and Vincent, the boss from Alice. To enthusiastically, Alice tries talk to Vincent about the situation, but he tells her that if she wants it, promotion must convince her boyfriend to what a pose for the desperate session. Alice tries to contact Balthazar, but he doesn't answer your calls, too distressed, drinking alone after their breakup. When the father of Balthazar arrives home and finds everything in mess full of beer bottles and junk food wrappers, in that moment, Alice appears, her father trying to protect this son, being the who is depressed by a woman, and does not. Balthazar relieved, Alice talks to Balthazar outside, mentioning nervously the topic of the session photos. She's not enthusiastic, but accepts the day of the session. Alice gets increasingly nervous because Balthazar did not. Simon has appeared and suggests that he should be honest with him, but she hesitates just when you start to lose hope. Balthazar finally arrives and goes straight to combing and putting on makeup. Simon, oblivious to the situation, apologizes to Balthazar, who he is clearly upset by the session. Begins with Balthazar hosting resentment towards Alice, and the situation it gets worse when the behavior, the photographer's rudeness, infuriates him even more in the middle of the session. Balthazar confronts Alice in front of everyone. Annoyed, Vincent accuses Alice of ruining their decade-long friendship, and he says goodbye, irking them. Friends asking where is the address to a conference room where it is. Mistaken for a guest speaker, coincidentally, Balthazar is in the public, taking advantage of the opportunity. Alice starts talking about infrastructures and modernizations, later confesses his mistake to Balthazar in front of all the students. Applaud, and Balthazar comes down to the stage asking him, what does all that mean? In response, Alice kisses him passionately in front of the crowd. A few months later, Alice visits the printing press and reports to Simon that they must start again. Then meets Balthazar and shows him the finished copies of his new book. Inspired by their relationship, they share a tender kiss, closing the chapter of his tumultuous history together.